there, welcome to the 29th episode of Under the Radar. I am very excited to almost be at 30 episodes. Kind of crazy. That was kind of my goal, is to hit 30 this year. So, hey, looks like it's going to happen. Not too bad. In the last episode, I covered a band called After Project, who's like a hardcore, metalcore band from Chicago. And in this episode, I'm going to cover an indie rock, kind of like American football-esque styled, noodly guitars, jazzy, trumpet, just really cool sounding band called Colossal. And before I get into the actual release of Colossal's debut EP on Asian Man Records, I wanted to kind of get into like how I discovered the band, which was they had played and opened for Alkaline Trio when Alkaline Trio did their Halloween Live at the Metro DVD in 2002. And that was the first time that Colossal's name like kind of circulated in the scene, at least that I came from. And we kind of like took notice of, whoa, this new band that featured Rob Kellenberger of Slapstick and Tuesday on drums. And it was a very unique sound, not unlike the bands I had just mentioned, like American Football, Pele, Owls, Tortoise, kind of just that mathy indie rock, maybe a little minus the bear. That was the kind of vibe of the music. But anyway, so they had one song out at the time, and it was a song that was featured on the Asian Man Records comp Mail Order for the Masses. And it was a song called Table Settings. I was instantly hooked by this song. I thought it was so amazing. Just really catchy song.
He made her dinner, both literally, figuratively, put his money on the table. She liked this design, so with a strong arm of a glance threw in this line, caught on the lights, were so inclined. They made us dinner, by the look on each other's faces, that inevitably led future conversations. They both knew what was said. They'd say things like, you'd say things like, you'd say things like you are saying things, and now you're not saying anything. Her dinner, writing names backwards on the window. Put your money where your mouth is. I like this design, so with a strong arm of a glance, casting this line, caught on the lights, we were so inclined. They made us.
At one point, one of my old bands, Dorm Life, we had kind of sort of toyed around with covering that song, and instead of having the trumpet line played with a trumpet, we had talked about doing it with piano. But that never really circulated, although we used to jam that song live like as sound checks before our gigs. So one of my favorite songs by this band, very unique song. Not many songs, in my opinion, sound like that song. Very cool. And so that will get me into their debut EP, which was entitled Brave the Elements, also released on Asian Man Records. It was produced by Scott Adamson in Chicago at Semaphore Studios, and Scott had done Honor System's Final Record and a bunch of other indie bands from Chicago that were kind of circulating at the time. But this EP, oh my god, like just as soon as I picked this up, the debut track off this song was seriously like, it was probably top 3 favorite Colossal songs. It's called Human Jackson.
This isn't why I need you here, accumulate, refine our intentions, distill landscape and ours. I will not disarm or refocus priorities. I guess I came for an inspection, to meet me in the corners, unswept like it was.
Now, if you're familiar, again, with like those indie bands that I had mentioned earlier, like American Football, you can really hear it, especially with that trumpet. The way that the guitars are played, very technical, a lot of hammer-ons and noodly kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It just has its own kind of vibe. And that was a lot to do with the lead singer of the band, who had completely different style of singing than any of the bands that I had mentioned before. Most of the singing in Colossal was done by Pat Ford. He had a very deep voice. He composed these songs and just really jazzy style. He used to be in a band called Flowers from Elgin, Illinois. And Flowers actually featured Dan Andriano before Dan went on to play in Slapstick, and then Tuesday, and then eventually Alkaline Trio. So Pat really brought a very unique sound to the scene with this band, and his style of writing, singing. Really enjoyed it. There are moments like it kind of reminded me of Dismemberment Plan, but again, it was a lot more smooth and melodic. You can really hear how set apart this band was. Another great song on here was You Run Marathons.
They want you to build it up, reinforce the center, and hold it close. 'Cause one attached string will strangle us. At least we'll suffocate together. Build it up, reinforce the center, bury me alive with the strings to strangle us. At least we'll suffocate forever.
I really loved the use of tambourine and percussion along with the drums on this release. That was something very common with American Football, as well as trumpet playing. And I should also mention that Colossal consisted of another member who sang just not quite as much as Pat, by the name of Jason Flax. And he was the trumpet player, but he had a much higher singing voice. And he sang on the song Plateau Song. Hear what I mean in the difference of style of singing between Jason and Pat. Jason actually played trumpet on one of my old bands on Midwest Blue on our final release, which was a collection of material that we put out on Johan's Face called Sides. He played on the song While I'm Breathing, If You Don't Mind, which you can download at midwestblue.bandcamp.com for free if you'd like to check that out. He killed the trumpet on that. He just played with such like stout, like had a really powerful set of pipes. Anyway, my first time seeing Colossal was actually playing with them. In 2003, Midwest Blue opened for Colossal, the Honor System, the Ghost, Mount St. Helens, and Los Chonis at Elgin Turner's Club. I also got the chance to open for Colossal another time in my band Dorm Life later in 2005 at Clearwater Theater, when they had put out their full-length album Welcome to Problems, which is an amazing album that you should definitely check out. But yeah, Colossal is just one of those bands that like Y Intercept I had mentioned in a previous episode, I have seen Colossal live more times than almost any band in the Chicago area, any local band. I used to go see them frequently, one of my favorite bands, and I'll definitely be covering their full-length album in the future. But the final song and title track of this EP, called Brave the Elements, is an amazing track as well.
Despite the warnings and commitments, I assume a front of French kiss, but tranquilizers, red state fits. Assured are we in different company. Assured we are. Assured obscurity. Sad fights, the ones you know, waving for the undertow. Goodbye, we were so caught up in the trees that we planted. We hide, so brave the elements in the traps that we once set. We're caught, no persona, direction, or home.
Always really enjoyed those drums, almost a disco-y vibe with those like edited claps. Like, I don't know if those were sampled claps or real claps, but it was just a fun song. Anyway, definitely check out Colossal, and you can, I'm sure Asian Man still has these releases in their catalog. They also have a fair amount of comp tracks. I later did put out a compilation on my record label called Alarm Clock Revolution, called the Alarm Comp, which featured an unreleased instrumental song by Colossal called Trifecta that you can download at alarmclockrevolution.bandcamp.com. Feel free to check that out. And yeah, in other news, I've been getting pre-orders for the Singularity collection, and I can't thank you enough. I've gotten 6 pre-orders so far, which is very encouraging. I mean, it's small, but it's, you know, just starting off, you know, like trying to generate interest, and appreciate anybody who's ordered a copy. It comes out on Digipack, really cool liner notes, artwork, poster comes with it, sticker comes with it. It'll ship out in early January, and I'm filming a video for the second track on there pretty soon. I got a bunch of other videos that I'm just trying to plot out right now and kind of get things going for. Also have a meeting this week with a guy who has some interest in possibly putting out Escape Babylon and helping me with marketing, which is something I struggle with, so I appreciate that. I will keep people up to date with all that, and in the meantime, I'll be working on another episode very shortly, and thank you for your time.